Well, good morning. It's always good to come home to Unity of Fort Lauderdale, to see all of my friends and just be right here with you. And so today we are going to start a series of 3 questions. Those 3 questions actually come from a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. I don't know if you've seen this book or read it. This is the same guy who wrote a book about the 4 agreements. And then he wrote a book called The 5th Agreement. But now he's raising 3 questions. And he starts the book with a story about an old man who was in ancient times traveling on a road in a wagon, and it was wet and rainy and muddy, and the wagon kind of fell off on the side of the road, and one of the wheels broke off, and a young boy came and helped him get the wagon back up on the road and put the wheel back on. And this gentleman gave him a gift of 3 pearls, and with each pearl was a question. With each pearl, there was a question. And if you read your newsletter, you already know what those 3 questions are. So today we're actually going to start with question number 1. Who am I? Who am I? Now, if we read scripture, we know that Genesis tells us God created humankind in his image. In the image, he created them male and female. That's from Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. We have been taught all of our lives that we are made in the image and likeness of God. That doesn't mean that we're all going to look like that picture that has been published ad nauseum of an old man sitting on a cloud with a long white beard. That's just simply not going to happen. Okay?
Be sure.
In most cases, I'm sorry, Jerome. And your beard isn't long. The image and likeness of God means that we have that divinity, that spark of divinity from within. Imelda Shanklin wrote a book, one of the Unity classes, called What Are You? And in that, she points out that we are all God's manifest idea. And she says this: when you receive God spiritually, you are aware of your own spiritual identity. When you receive God mentally, you're aware of your mental identity. And when you receive God physically, you become aware of your own physical identity. That's what we are. Now, Don Miguel Ruiz says it this way: who I am means taking that first step back to authenticity of truth, the truth of who we are. So we are all storytellers, and we all make up stories about who we are and what we are. We are parents, we are sons, we are daughters, we are grandparents, we are cousins, we're friends, with whatever job title you may or may not have. But that's not your true identity. That's what you do. That's where you are in any given stage of your life. Those are the roles we play. So let's talk about it. What is your me? Your me is an illusion. Your me is the person you accept as your real self. Your me is everything that you believe you are. Your me is related to the character that you create. That's your me. Only life is real. Life is what's real, not your me. And your life is not your physical life. It's your spiritual life. that life that was put in you from the Creator at the beginning of time, not at conception. When you are aware of yourself as energy, that's what we are. We are spirits. We put these bodies on to move us through this physical experience. But that's not who we are. We must at all times be aware that only life exists. Spiritual life. And with spiritual life, we have access to a spiritual toolbox. And that spiritual toolbox comes with 3 major items. And it's not the screwdriver, the wrench, and the hammer. It's your attention. Attention to your truth. Attention to who and what you truly are. Attention to your essence, the essence of your spirit. The next is your memory. That's soul memory, not the physical memory, not the memory of physical events that have transpired, but your soul memory. Remembering who we were before we took on this body, this physical body. And it's not impossible to do. And you don't have to spend a lot of money going to someone who is gifted with that. This is something that you can actually tap into through meditation. The next is your imagination. Your final tool in that toolbox is the imagination, the ability to go to your true source and create the life that you're meant to live. Create those things that you know you are put here to do. And because we are in this spiritual and physical environment, we are all parts of groups. And that doesn't have to impede or restrict who you are in truth. But as part of this human experience, we are all a part of groups. First group is your family. We're born into families. Some we're blessed to be able to stay with our physical families throughout our lives. Others go through experiences that are not always pleasant through adoption, foster care, and situations and circumstances like that. But whatever that family picture might look like, we are there for a purpose. We are there in that particular family to learn and to teach, to give and to receive. And that goes with every group, every single group that we're involved with. That includes our church, that includes our community, our city, our county, state, the nation, and the world, for we are all one. We understand that we are one with the universe, with each other, and one with God. Change is a part of not only our human experience, but our spiritual experience as well. Because as we grow spiritually, we come more deeply aware of that oneness, that connection with each other, that connection with God, that connection with the universe. If you go to the beach and you just sit quietly, eventually you can feel your connection with the ocean, with the sky, with the sand. I see someone nodding. You've had that experience as well. You can feel that you are truly one. That's why I think it's so powerful to meditate in nature whenever we can. Change starts within, and it goes from within to the outer. It doesn't matter what you see as something that might require an alteration or a change. It always starts in here. It cannot start here and then move to the heart. If for true change to take place, it must start here in your heart. Change that starts in your mind with no transition or translation into that heart space is not going to last. It's not going to last. Change requires action that is going to lead to another and another and another and another change until finally new habits are formed. You get into a new way of doing things, a new way of thinking. That's when real change occurs, starting in the heart and moving outward. So I encourage you at all times to first of all, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself about who you are, about what you are, about what you see with your third eye, about what you feel in your heart, about what you want to manifest in your physical life during this physical existence. Be honest with yourself. If you don't speak it to anyone else, speak the truth to yourself in your own heart. And next, treat yourself with compassion. If in your honest assessment of who and what you are, you see something that you did not want to see or acknowledge about yourself, be compassionate with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get angry with yourself. And if you really want to change it, start here. And remember to repeat over and over and over. And the more changes you make about those things that you want to change about yourself, the more changes you make, the more you will see those things come into reality. And last, love yourself unconditionally. Don't put terms and conditions on what you feel for yourself. Love yourself. If you're not able to love yourself, it's incapable. You are going to be incapable of loving anyone else. Unconditional love of self is what makes it possible for you to love another. If you don't love yourself, if you see something in yourself that you really are uncomfortable with, unhappy with, and don't like, you're going to see that in other people. That's that mirror. When you see only love for self, you're only going to see love for others. But the moment you see things within yourself that you don't like, you're going to see it in the face of everybody else you encounter. So above all things, love yourself. Love yourself unconditionally. Don't ever forget, be honest with yourself. Treat yourself with compassion. And when I say treat yourself with compassion, do things that really make you happy. If it's a bubble bath with candles, do it. If it's a walk on the beach, do it. If it's swimming, do it. Be compassionate with yourself. Do those things that bring you peace and bring you joy. And that makes it a lot easier for you to love yourself when you treat yourself good. Treat yourself to a good dinner. Go to a concert. Even if you don't have anybody to go with you. If that's what you want to do, go do it. Love yourself unconditionally. And there's no way in the world you're not going to be able to answer that question as to who am I? Because that's how you get to know who you are.